Hi all. So it's been a little while since I did another recording. I spent most of my time recently painting, not had a vast amount of free hobby time. But now one of the things I've managed to do in that time is sort of sit and have a good little ponder around the new Clash of Kings book that's come out. So I thought I'd do a quick review and my thoughts on it. So this is the organised playbook that's come out. It's a sort of I think the initial idea is this is for 2017, and we'll see how it goes. They might do one every year. We don't know. It's produced by Mantic and it's written by Nick Williams, with quite a lot of folk helping. I think quite a bit from the Rules Council as well, and a few others. So well done, Nick. His first time published in name. So if you've got any complaints about any of this, you can find Nick Williams in the Facebook group, the King's War Facebook group, and let him know, because he loves getting the well-reasoned, constructive feedback that wargamers are known for, and not the skies falling doom and panic that, hasn't at all accompanied this book publishing. Yeah. So that's why I left my review for a little while, because I wanted to actually take it all in and sort of ponder myself what it all means, and see if it really is the end of the game as we know it, or whether it's just a nice little addition. So the book itself is, I have to say, quite a nice little production quality. His print seems good, the binding seems good, nice glossy cover for a tenner. Yeah, it feels pretty good value for money. Contents wise, so the first it's a 40-page book, but almost the first 30 pages are given over to a guide to doing tournaments, a guide to running your own league, an achievement system, etc., for sort of scenario play and even writing your own rules. Now, I'll be honest, not really read it. Just kind of skipped across all that. It looks like there's some interesting stuff in there, but I ain't planning to run the tournament. I'm not going to be running the local league. So it's, not of a massive interest to me, really. For me, the real part that I bought it for was the new rules. If you go to lots of tournaments, this is probably going to become the standard play pack, like the last Clash of Kings was last year. So the rules edition, there's kind of three sections really to talk about here. There's the rules changes for the year, the scenarios, and the new magic items. So let's just get the rules stuff out of the way. First, the changes. Now, most of this is stuff that was in the Clash of Kings pack we've all been playing for the past year. There's an army composition ruling now, sort of just in paper, about limiting the number of duplicates. So for your average 2,000 point tournament, no more than 3 duplicates of any unit. Fair enough. But then we get to some of the special rules they're changing. And the first one straight out the door is the biggie. That's the breath attack, fireball, and lightning bolt. You now get a cover bonus, so they go to 5 up to hit something in cover rather than a 4 up. I like this. I think it makes these weapons require a little bit more thought in their use. It gives you, when you're fighting an army that was kind of really stacked up in breath attacks, fireball, lightning bolts, you kind of only two plans were really to either sit back and not engage them at all, or charge at them and just hope you could take them off before they shot you off. Either way, didn't give you much in the way of tactical options, whereas now you can actually use cover to an advantage. So I think that's going to be a biggie. I think that'll break some of the really spammy builds we've seen sort of around that. So they've got the fly rule in here again, the one where if you're disordered, i.e. you take it in close combat, you lose the fly and the nimble ability. That's fair enough. Bane chant spell. So this is the interesting one about you only get piercing if it gives you 2 or more hits from the same casting. So now those 2 dice Bane chants, you're down to what? I can't work out the exact odds. 250s, yeah. Maybe, I don't know. Definitely less than 50% chance. What, 25% chance? Maybe? 4 up and 2 dice? Don't know. You have to get 2 hits though to get piercing. So that makes the 3 dice Bane chant even better. But also means you're much less likely to see that getting the auto kind of spam in the shooting horde, I think. Other things, so Pharaoh dropping from Def 6 to 5, well that was already in there. Vampire Lords dropping from Def 6 to 5. I don't like that. Okay, I'm an undead player. But to me, like, the individual vamp is quite an expensive unit, but you were paying for a unit that could do a little bit of damage, but that 6 up was what I was really paying for. I don't know if I'd have them in my army anymore. I don't. It does make a difference. That 6 up to 5 up is doubling the number of wounds you're going to get on, if something doesn't have Thunderous Charge. So yeah, I understand to some degree something may have needed to be done, but I'd like to have seen a points reduction as well if you were doing that. They don't seem worth the points. Again, Pharaoh dropping. The Night Stalkers, the Fiends, interestingly, they've reduced the nerve values for both the regiments and the hordes. Some folk reckon they've not dropped them enough. I've not fought them much, but they were, when you looked at the Night Stalker list, I thought they were a standout unit, so that makes sense. Same with the Mind Screechers, the nerve again's been dropped, which is good because the spam for them is horrible, because they're also, not only could they pump out a lot of damage, they were really tough and hard to kill, so they kept their points. What else have we seen? We've seen Herja. No more of this bringing back a unit. They've just given her a heal 5 that can be dropped on any unit, friendly unit once per game. I think that's much, much better. Much better. Yeah, I think that does not make her worse. And I still think she's armor 6, so she's one of the few armor 6 individuals floating around. So I think Herja is still really good. The Defense of the Death engine is reduced in the Ratkin list. Can't say I've really seen a lot of them, so don't really know. Salamanders, interestingly, a number of the units have now got Vicious, so a little bit of a buff there. Good, like to see that. They kind of felt they needed that a little bit, but I'm personally planning. I think now my next army is going to be Salamanders, so I'm quite happy to see that as well. There's also a bit of a buff to the Trident Realms with them giving Ensnare to a lot more of the units. Again, the guys needed that because the Trident Realms felt really bitty. They had this Ensnare special rule that most of the units didn't have, so that might make them a bit better. And they've given Orcs, they've given quite a few of the Orc units Fury. That I think also makes a difference. I do like that. I like the little buffs there, and I like the fact they've not, maybe other than the breath attack, most of the nerfs are understandable. So yeah, on the whole, I think these new rules, I like them. I can't see anything massively broken. I'm a bit upset about the Vampire Lord. But then again, if I had a breath attack army, I'd probably be a bit upset about the change to that. But nothing there that I feel's broken. And the little buffs as well should hopefully maybe make us see more Salamanders and Trident Realms and Orcs out there. So yeah, all in the whole, thumbs up for the special rules. The special rule changes. So one of the other big things in this book that'll affect tournament play are the new scenarios. Now there's 12 scenarios at the back of the book. The first 6 are the standard ones you'll have seen before. But there's 6 new ones. They're a bit of a mixed bag, but on the whole, I'm quite liking them. So we've got Ransack, which is the same as Pillage, except before you put the marker down, you roll a d3, and that's how many victory points that marker's worth if you control it. Now, I'd say my biggest complaint about that one is just it'd be nice if you rolled, I think, after you put the markers down, and that would have made it a bit more interesting, the placement. Yeah. I think that's good. That's okay. It adds a little bit of a change to the normal kind of. If I deploy 3 if you do these scenarios, normally they're defaulted to about 5 objectives, and what you're trying to do is place a triangle of 3 of them within that 12 inches, and then capture those 3, and contest the other 2 if you can. And this one, that might not be doable now if your 3 only worth 1 point and the other 2 worth 3 points each. So, yeah, that's going to throw a few things in the game, I think. But yeah, I like that one. So there's Secure. The next one's Secure, which is basically the same way as capturing objective markers, except you have to capture terrain, and different types of terrain are worth different points. Not really liking that one, in all honesty. It's very dependent on the scenario, the tournament organizer to set the terrain up nicely, specifically with that one in mind. I think it's just a bit too much of a random pain. I don't expect to see that one too often at tournaments, in all honesty. Then we have Scour. Now this is an interesting one. So you place the objective markers again the same as Pillage, but this time you can kill the markers if you want. Sort of starting from a certain point in the game, you can you can remove the markers down to 3. So if if I hold 5, if I make a move for 4 of them, one of them I know I can't hold, I could just remove it. I could use one of the units on it to kill that marker so it goes away. I thought that was yeah, it's an interesting one. Not sure how that'll play in life, but that definitely a different tactical problem, which I suppose is what they're really after. Then we've got Occupy. Occupy is a bit of a nice aggressive one. You place some markers in the middle and some markers. And each player places a marker in their opponent's half, and you have to capture them. The ones in the middle are worth 1 point. The one in your opponent's half is worth 2 points. So again, it's a scenario to force you to be a bit more aggressive and take the fight to your opponent and cross the table. So then we've got scavenge. It's a bit of an interesting one where there's like an objective in the middle and a couple that each player places in the centre. And then when your unit is on top of it, rather than sort of doing anything, I think it basically loots it and picks up a loot token and then carries it like a loot token as you would normally in the game. Whoever has the most loot tokens at the end wins, and so you can kill the units and take them off it. Interesting one again, very interesting. It means you have to really fight all three objectives. You know, if I hold two and you don't come at me, then I'm going to win because I'm going to capture more. But I can't just leave you sitting with one unit. And yeah, I can see lots of ways to win that. Do you hold a place and gather up loads of loot, or do you just let your opponent gather loot and go take his loot? A couple of ways there. Then we've got the final one, eliminate. I like this one. We each get given each player has 3 bounty tokens, and they have to place them on the 3 most expensive units. You can capture the bounty tokens by taking that unit out, and then one of the units destroyed, it picks it up, I believe. But either way, and there's an objective in the centre, and you get 1 point for the objective and 1 point for each bounty token you're capturing. So that's quite interesting, because your 3 most expensive units is normally the 3 you're lying doing a lot of your killing. But now they're also the objectives for the enemy to focus on and kill. That's interesting. Oh, you also, yeah, you get points for killing the opponent's bounty tokens. Yeah. So I like them. Apart from, to be honest, the terrain one, I like all the other scenarios, and they force you to play in a different way. Simple changes, but you know, there's ones there that are disadvantages. You know, give advantages to elite lists. Some that give advantages to hordes. There's a definite relative punishment of gun lines. I think there definitely feels like an encouragement that you don't just build a static gun line, because you will lose in a lot of these scenarios if you build a static gun line. You have to at least be able to go fight for the centre of the table. And I think that's good, because I think that's what the game's designed, really. They want the guns to be supporting the combat, not just a straight gun line. So yeah. No, on the whole, again, the scenarios, yeah, I was worried they were going to be a bit dodgy, but yep, I think they worked just fine. And now we come on to, I suspect, the area of the book, well, I'm pretty sure, I haven't seen what's already been floating around, that'll cause the most controversy, the new spells and artifacts. So we'll start with the spells. We've got 3 new spells that anybody can take on, I believe, any wizard that can cast magic. So it's quite, well, sorry, any non-living legend, worth pointing that out. So the first spell we've got is Weakness, which is basically a reverse Bane chant. 2 dice, and if you get a hit, the enemy unit suffers -1 to wound. Now it's only 20 points as opposed to the 25 for Bane chant, but personally I'd just rather take Bane chant and kill the enemy unit. It's got its uses though, but the one use I could see with that especially is to take on an allied wizard. So if you've got allies and you've got a wizard, normally they couldn't cast Bane chant on the rest of the army, but the weakness will be of a use. So it's got its place, but you know, it's not one I can see me taking particularly. Next we have Blood Boil, which is one that seems to have caused quite a bit of controversy. Where basically it's a Piercing 1, ranged attack 12, but you roll a number of dice equal to the number of wounds on the enemy unit. Now, I'm not really sold on this one. I can't see me taking it. You know, I could see it being good if you've got a gun line, so you shoot up a horde and then you hit it. Then after you've done 10-15 wounds with your shooting, you then hit it with Blood Boil, and it will suddenly be a very powerful attack. But yeah, I've seen folks say it's good for sort of units like, you know, the Herd, for instance. I was reading a blog post that said it'd be good in Herd, but I'm not really seeing that, because most of my damage in Herd, in fact, all my damage is done in close combat, so this isn't a replacement magic missile, but I could be wrong on that one. The last one, I think, is the one I find most interesting, Soul Drain. It's only got 6 inches, it's a Piercing 1 attack, but firstly you can cast it into combat, which is nice, and secondly, for every wound you do, you heal you can heal the character that cast it or unit within 6 inches. Now it's 30 points, so it's not cheap. But I'm sitting going, well, I've got heal. It's a bit of an interesting one. I'm not quite sure whether it's worth it over the sort of the heal spell I've got in my head just now. But yeah, that's got a place, I think, definitely. Um, Not sure where yet though, but definitely got a use. I think what sells me in that one is the cast into combat. That makes a massive difference. Now the artifacts, yeah, I like these. So the first thing we should probably mention is the fact that they've dropped 3 artifacts from the rule pack. So Enscrolled Armour, Brew of Keen Eyes, and Medallion of Life. I think, from what I understand, the logic was their 3 items you see a hell of a lot. And it's true, Enscrolled Armour, I have never built a list without it. Like, you know, if you've got Lord and a Dragon or anything like that, you whack Enscrolled Armour on it. If you've got a character with less than a 6-up armor save, boom, on it goes. It's just such a useful thing, so it makes sense to ban it because everybody uses it. May not be glad it's gone, but it's gone. Brew of Keen Eyes, again, the logic there, I believe, was every bow horde under the sun had it, so, well, make it go away. And Medallion of Life, not one I've used, but again, it was very popular, similar to Scrolled Armour. It was on every Lord and a Dragon, they either one or the other normally. So yeah, it's definitely forced a change in the way I look at characters, especially. I think it's a good change. It mixes the meta up because, you know, 6-up armored dragons suddenly aren't going to be there anymore. So I think that makes a big change. I think we'll see less dragons over the course of the year now. The new artifacts, though, on the whole, are actually pretty good and interesting. So start off, we've got the Heal and Brew. 5 points, heals D3 wounds. Grand. For a 5-point item, I'd say that's up there. Yeah, that's Blade of Slash and a Heal and Brew is pretty much the choice now, I'd say, for the sort of default ones. Yeah, that's a really useful little one. Then, one that I find probably the most interesting, the Spark Stone. It's only 10 points and it's got an 18-inch range and you hit a 4-up and it can only target heroes, monsters or war machines, but if you score a hit it's disordered. So your war machine can't shoot, your hero or your monster can't fly. It's I can't remember the character's name, but it's like the Sun Staff in Forces of Nature. There's a character with a name called the Sun Staff, which does a similar thing. And yeah, again, I think that feels like a bit of a nerf to the dragons. There's been a lot of, I think, if you look at sort of tournaments last year, almost, you know, it felt like it was kind of standard to have character on a big dragon. That was a really, really common thing. So getting rid of the Enscrolled Armour, Medallion of Life, putting in the Spark Stone, that's it kind of feels like a big nerf aimed at them. But, you know, again, that's a little interesting one. For 10 points as well, I can see that fitting in a lot of lists. Next one we've got Helm of the Ram, 15 points, and gives a unit Thunderous Charge 1 or increases its Thunderous Charge by 1. Yeah, I like that. I like that one. 15 points, it sounds fair. It's a bit of a cheaper version of the Potion of Strength. And again, it fills a nice little hole, I think, in the magic item points. There wasn't a lot at 15 points you could take. Then you've got the second one, Blood of the Old King, which for 1 turn, 15 points again, 1 turn, a unit gains Elite and Vicious. Again, really useful little artifact. I can quite happily see me using that in lots of units. You know, give you that 1 turn of just devastation when you charge to make sure you hit a unit and wipe it out. So that's quite a good one. Banner the Griffin is the first of a couple of items which feel very much like they're aimed at army standard bearers to give you sort of a bit more choice on what magic items to give them. So in this case, Banner of the Griffin, 20 points, the unit gains Rallying 1. Yeah, that 20 points, that's useful. As I say, any kit, you'll throw that in any battle standard bearer. Then we've got the first of the ones I'm not so sure on. It's interesting. Dragon's Charge Shield, 20 points. If the unit basic carries out a halt or pivot order for 1 turn, once per game, if it carries out a halt or pivot order, it increases its defense by +2 up to 6+. Now, this is an interesting one. This feels like it's aimed at the slightly squishier hordes, so 4-up armor hordes. Orcs especially, I think, gain a lot of that. You know your Great Axe horde's going to get charged, so you just pivot to face the charge, pop that shield. Who's going to charge at the 6-up? It buys you another turn. Yeah, I like it. I'm not sure. little bit situational. That would be the only thing I'd say in that. It's a little bit situational, but it's useful. Then we come to Hammer of Measured Force. Always win something a 4-up, no matter what the modifiers. 20 points. Yeah, that is for any of those units that you have out there with lots of attacks and no crushing strength. That to me is a no-brainer. You know, that is fantastic. Those kind of units with 25, 30 attacks but no crushing strength. Give them Hammer Measured Force, wounding the 4-up all the time. That's gonna really put a scare in things, especially all those people out there running lots of Earth Elementals. That's one you're going to be very wary of because your unit will get blended quite quickly by that. Then the one that is almost the auto-include. I think it's going to be the new Unscrolled Armour. Loot of Insatiable Darkness. 20 points. Could be used by heroes, but the hero gains Bane Chant 2 spell. I think that's your standard for your Battle Standard Bearer. Almost every army's going to take that, I think. Almost everything. I haven't seen a place for it in my herd because I've already got 2 Bane Chant and they're 3 dice ones. And I've not got a character to put it on in all honesty. But generally, yeah, that is such a nice little spell. Nice little spell, nice little magic item. Really like that one. I think that's going to be really common. I think that may be an issue. I think maybe a wee bit too much Bane Chant. I understand part of the logic there was probably to give a buff to the armies that don't have access to Bane Chant, but I thought it was part of the point of having those armies without Bane Chant. It was the thing, but we'll see. We'll see. Could be wrong, but I think that's going to be, we're going to see a hell of a lot of that one. Then next up we have the Zephyr Crown for 20 points. It gives the unit Wind Blast 4 or increases a Wind Blast value by 4 points. Don't really see Wind Blast much in all honesty. Maybe increasing it by 4 will make it better. I cannot honestly say. I've never seen the spell used much. I can think of a few clever uses for it, but then I'd rather take the Loot of Insatiable Darkness. I'd rather have the Bane Chant. That's what you're competing with there. And I think the Bane Chant makes sense. And the final one, Shroud of the Saint, 25 points. Increases unit's heal value, so it already has to have the heal ability by 2. That's fantastic. 25 points, yep. Love that. If you've got heal, it makes perfect sense. That's on average dice, another wound healed. So yeah, I have to admit, I really like the new magic items. There's nothing that feels broken, and I can see most of them seem to be aimed at filling in holes in either the magic item point range or in certain armies and sort of counters to some of the aspects of the meta. Yeah, I like it. I think it's going to make out for a really interesting year ahead. The book on the whole. Yeah, so the book on the whole, good book. As I say, didn't really do the first bit. Sorry, Nick. I will read it at some point, I'm sure. But I think it's a nice, healthy update. I think it bodes quite well for the future of the tournament scene really this year. And I'm looking forward to actually, hopefully, at last, we're now 3 months into the year and I've not been to a ruddy tournament. So hopefully eventually I'll get to a tournament and get to try them out. But yeah, hope you enjoyed that review and catch you all later.